school child lunch special, only $14. 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $69. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, and a 2-liter soda, only $92. Oh, and the big one, baby. Free large pizza every Tuesday with your favorite 2 for Tuesday special. So, come on down or call and order now and experience our tasty oven-baked goodness. Domino's, the home of satisfaction.
Wow, call Domino's.
It's the morning show.
This message brought to you by ZIZ and the Fire Department of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am Woman Fire Officer Mavis White Archibald with your safety tip for today. Install smoke alarms on every level of your home, inside bedrooms and outside sleeping areas. Test smoke alarms every month. If they are not working, change the batteries.
This message was brought to you by ZIZ and the St. Kitts Nevis Fire Department.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the program. It's time for our fire talk conversation we have each and every Tuesday morning at 9:30. If you're viewing the program via our social media page on YouTube or Facebook, you'll probably see a familiar face in the studio that has not been here for a very long time. Almost a year. I must say though, he was here at the start of the year to introduce the program and hand it over. I remember when you did that.
Yes.
You know, and I don't think we're closing off the program as yet. We should have at least one more program in the bag for the year before we wrap up for our how can I put it, Christmas and Carnival season.
Yeah.
You know, here on ZIZ, we do that every year. We close down all of our programs, and then we start again, I believe, with the second week in January. So this is not the final program.
No.
But however, though, he's in the studio this morning. That's Chief William, Fire Chief Williams. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And Fire Substation Officer. Make sure I get that correct.
Yes, you did.
Yes, in the studio as well. Good morning. How you doing?
Hi, good morning, GQ, and good morning to the listening and viewing audience.
All right. Last week we started a conversation about safety in the home and also in the workplace as well. We started off sharing some tips and insights as what you should do and need to know as it relates to protecting yourself in the home. We continue the conversation this morning from the business aspect of it.
Yes.
And I'll be guided by you because I see the chief here, and I know when he's here, there's an announcement sometimes to be made. I'm not sure if that was, so I err on this side of caution, and I'll be guided accordingly by you guys. So you're gonna start this morning, Chief, or you're gonna let?
No, I'm not here to take over the show. I'll chime in.
Okay, all right.
All right, good morning again. As you said, last week we would have done safety tips for the homes, and now we move on to the safety tips for the businesses. You know, it's the Christmas season, and most businesses would see an increase in sales, and by that you get an increase in people traffic coming through your business, and it's a part of your duty to keep your patrons safe, customers and patrons. So we urge business places to put their safety procedures in place, which is not only for their staff, but it is for the persons that are patronizing their businesses at the given time and in the unlikely event of an emergency.
Right.
So in terms of fire suppression, we can't preach enough to have fire extinguishers. Have fire extinguishers in the business. It's recommended to have different types of fire extinguishers, but because depending on the contents of what is burning at that time, then you having the extinguishers and being trained with the use of those extinguishers, you would know which extinguisher to use at any given time. What we recommend, however, is for most businesses to have what we call the ABC fire extinguishers, because they can be used on the 3 classes of fire, class A, B, and C, and those are the most commonly used extinguishers.
Right.
For certain other businesses, we recommend sprinkler systems. That is like for some of the banks, some of the hotels, and so forth. So, in these businesses, especially in the hotels where you have the bedding and the curtains and the other stuff in the room, in the likely event of a fire, that fire can spread so fast, and we talk in a hotel, we talk in a joint rooms. If that fire gets out of that room and out of control, you don't want the result of what can likely happen. So a sprinkler system for a hotel is highly recommended, so that system does the work until the fire department gets there. Smoke detectors, it's a very small instrument, but it saves homes, it saves lives. It's recommended to have them in the homes, in the businesses, where you can be asleep and you hear that loud noise from the smoke detector. That would make you would alert you to a fire in the home. And for businesses, it's good to have them maybe in a storeroom area or just outside a door, so just in case there's smoke protruding from that area, the smoke alarm would pick it up, it would set off an alarm and alert you by, there is a fire here, or something is wrong here, and you can act upon it, and that way you save your business.
Before we move from the smoke conversation, can the smoke prevent you from getting up from your sleep?
Yes, it can. And the smoke, sometimes persons use carbon monoxide to knock out people. The smoke has the same effect, but just it takes a much longer time. But the type of smoke that is produced from burning material, dependent on what is burning, it could be, say for instance, it's the computer. It's hard plastic, and the kind of toxic smoke that would give off, it would knock you out, so you won't even get a chance to wake up.
Regardless if the alarm is going off, the smoke alarm.
So what I'm saying though is, if the alarm, the smoke rises, and because if you're sleeping you would be lower than the alarm should catch that smoke before you. So the alarm goes off, the alarm alerts you to that smoke before the room get completely filled with it, and it renders you in a position where you cannot get up now.
Right.
So having that alarm could save your life in that respect.
Okay. Prevent that aspect from happening.
Yes.
Okay. You can continue now.
Yes, so we always recommend for businesses to have a evacuation plan, and not only just to have that evacuation plan, but to test it. Even if you're doing testing, say twice a year, some do 3 times, you test it, because you change staff sometimes between the time, and even though the staff may know by that is what is supposed to happen, going through the motion, feeling it out, actually assures them that, hey, I'm ready for this.
Right.
So you create an evacuation plan, and you don't create one route for evacuation plan. You have different routes, and while we're talking about evacuation plan, it's also highly recommended for businesses to have lighting, exit lighting, and to have them illuminated as in the event that electricity goes out.
Right.
That's the lighting on the wall, a little exit sign, some businesses would have gone with maybe like a highlighted arrow system, and that helps. It helps persons to know the way where there is no sight, because you would see the highlightings, and that helps. So yes, you mark your exits properly. You make sure that the exits are not locked. You cannot keep emergency exits locked,
Right.
because then you defeat the purpose. Some businesses have doors there where can open only from the inside, and that is recommended as well, where you push on the door, it goes out. And note I said push. All exterior doors should be going outwards, because sometimes you don't have the strength to be pulling, but even if you lean up on that door, your body weight alone may be able to open the door for you. So it's recommended to have those exterior doors pushing outwards. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's a part of the the building code as well. Yes, exterior doors should be going outwards.
It should swing outdoors. I think one of the other reasons in the event of an evacuation, depending on the nature of the incident, most persons panic. Especially if they're not trained, they would panic. And imagine 20, maybe 30 persons running towards a door that has to open in. Once they get to that door and they hit that door will not open.
Right.
Because everybody is coming trying to get out, so they press against the door and you can't open.
Right.
If it's a door that opens out, then it's open and it goes out. Everybody just goes out.
And the momentum
door.
just continues.
It just continues.
Right.
Yeah, so it's recommended that the door should open in the direction of travel. So everything opens in the same direction, and not you run in this direction and do open this direction. So it causes pile up very easily.
And that's recommended for both home owners and businesses.
Home as well.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so you have the evacuation plan, you test the plan, you have your exit sign, so everybody know, hey, I'm going out this way. And then it's recommended to have a meeting point, a safe meeting point, depending on the emergency again. If it's a fire, your meeting point should be somewhere upwind to the building, so that the smoke and toxic gases won't be disturbing persons in the meeting point, or won't be affecting the site up there. Because when you get to that meeting point, there should be a designated person, fire marshal for some businesses, maybe the supervisor, the manager, and that designated person is supposed to get a head count of persons. So we encourage persons to take these evacuation drills seriously, so that persons can go through the motion of what they are supposed to do. Because you don't want, when the fire marshal is there counting by, you saw it as an opportunity to run down by the shop and come back, and when the fire department comes up, they can't account for you, and we think that you're in there still. We are, instead of suppressing the fire, because at that time now it's a life, and the preservation of life is on the highest.
So your focus changed
for these things. So the focus is now on rescue. You get to everywhere you could, even though there is fire. You basically just creating a path so that you can pass. We call a rescue path. You create that path to pass, and we are just doing searches instead of trying to contain the fire at that time. That time you're done good and gone about your business.
Right, and you don't want to run the risk of that person succumbing to
Exactly.
the right. Okay, I get you.
So it's important to follow the rules, follow the regulations. You have a meeting point. Yes, you are out safe. Go to that meeting point so that you can be counted and you can be properly accounted for. And the fire department would move on to the other part of the job, which is fire suppression.
Now that everything is in the clear.
Everybody is okay, so it's now time to focus fully and the suppression and containment and suppression of the fire.
Yes, I understand. All right, so we meeting point, plan of routes, more than one. Make sure you have fire extinguishers. What else we need to share as it relates to the business aspect of it?
Well, I think I would have skipped a bit in terms of the checking of the smoke alarms. The smoke alarms should be tested maybe at least every 6 months to make sure the battery is good, make sure the alarms goes off. For some businesses, they have what you call the actual fire system, which is connected to an external company.
Right.
That system should be tested as well, because you don't take it for granted that it's working. It's recommended to test it at least twice per year. For the fire extinguishers, they must be mounted and mounted in an area where they are not blocked by any doors, or you don't mount them in a spot and then you use it as a storage corner where persons do not have access to these fire extinguishers. They must be accessible.
Got you.
Yes, so those are just a few tips I would like to share for the businesses.
Chief, anything from you before we continue?
Not much. I think he would have pretty much covered most of the requirements for fire prevention for the business places. He started by mentioning that there would be an increase in traffic in as it relates to the persons visiting your establishment. So it is necessary, and we go back to making sure that your entrance and exits are kept cleared. Make sure they are marked, they are known, they are visible. And he also mentioned about the illuminated exit signs and so forth. I don't want us to run away thinking that all businesses need them. But most of the time, the illuminated ones you would find in bigger establishments where the exits cannot be seen. It is not visible from every place, so you would need directional signs leading towards the exits. There are smaller businesses where you go in and the exit is right there. Everywhere in the business you go, you could see the exits. So the simpler ones would suffice because you could see the exits. It's right there. So that works as well. But it is necessary that persons go into a business place and they understand the layout. They know exactly how to get in and how to get out. I think sometimes we take it for granted, because even the tourists, and right now we're in the peak of the tourist season, there are tourists who come from overseas and they know these things. And so sometimes we not even recognize it, but some tourists, and we have a lot of firefighters who come on these cruise ships. And so some of the things they look for when they enter your business is to see if you have these things in place. Because they would not enter your establishment if you don't have these safety measures in place. So it is important for your business, to boost your business as well, so persons see that you are taking this fire thing seriously. And so he would have basically pretty much covered what is needed for the establishment. But critically important is to make sure you exercise the plan. As he mentioned, it makes no sense to have a plan and you don't know the plan. And every time there's a new employee, you exercise the plan so that the new employee knows the plan.
Right.
You have to exercise your plan. We recommend at least twice a year, but you can do it as often as you choose.
Right. As you see fit.
Yes.
Now, with your permission, Chief, recently you guys launched a public service announcement as it relates to awareness to emergency vehicles on the road. How is that campaign going?
Well, we would have, like as you said, we would have recently released the finished product. I think we would have gotten back some positive reviews. Of course, they would have persons who have, different opinions and what's not. But we welcome that as well. But I think the the message was received, and we have seen a reduction in persons not giving way. We are actually seeing persons now pulling aside and allowing persons to pass. There has been a decrease. So again, I don't want us to try and create an impression like it is not happening. We just want to continue to emphasize, because what we are realizing now is not so much that persons are not pulling over, because they are pulling over. We have persons who try to outrun. So they hear the siren coming and they might be a good way off, and they, which leads to another problem that we are facing now, accidents. It leads to accidents, and that you interjecting this is quite timely, because that's one of the things I came here for.
Oh, okay.
So you actually introduced it.
Okay.
We are seeing an increase in the accidents, and in fire department we have seasons. We have wildfire seasons, we have accident season. December is accident season, because there's an increase in vehicular traffic, there's an increase in people traffic, and I think we would have heard about that tragic accident we had just Friday, and we had our next one just yesterday. While there were no fatalities yesterday, they could have easily, because it was a serious accident. So I want to urge persons to, and I'm speaking from the fire side of it, because we have to respond and do extrication. And we might say, no, well, traffic accidents is police. We have to respond as well, and we have to do all of the extrication. I want to encourage persons to be careful, drive with caution. Nowhere in St. Kitts far. There's nowhere in St. Kitts where you can't get to in good time driving 40 miles per hour. Nowhere in St. Kitts far. But I want to backtrack though, because what I wanted to do first was to extend my condolences to the family of those two young persons who would have lost their lives on Friday. I understand. We have seen it enough to understand the heartbreak that it brings. So, on behalf of the fire department and myself, I want to extend condolences to those families. But yes, I want to encourage us to drive safely. Don't drive for yourself, drive for other persons. You see persons maybe driving, and don't get frustrated. You do the right thing to prevent. You go in prevention mode. Okay? And let us try and reduce a lot of these accidents that can be reduced, because some of them are caused by a simple maybe a misjudgment, or maybe we're just not paying attention. But I want us to be very careful on the road. We have to be cautious on the road. We cannot afford to be losing our young people like this, or our citizens on a whole. So yes, I really want to ask us to be very careful on the road. We have a saying in fire department, a no call day is a good day. Any day that you don't have an emergency call, that is a good day, because there's no lives to be lost, and there's no risk to take. So
yes,
I also want to quickly commend, because we realize that there has been a decrease in fires over in general, both structural and wildland, and I believe it's because our citizens are being more cautious. We are taking the fire prevention more seriously, and there's even a huge reduction in house fires. We're not having the amount of house fires and the serious house fires that we were having in years past. And I want to believe it's because of these shows and the fire prevention program that we have, as we are now actually have to be out doing sessions daily. And it is a very active program, and so I want to commend our citizens for assisting in helping us to prevent or reduce fires. So those are the two things I came here to talk about,
and a good note to end on as well.
Yes, indeed.
Gentlemen, thanks for being here this morning. Next week, God Spare Our Lives will be our final program for the year. So come prepared to share and close it with a good vibe, if I can put it that
Yes,
way.
of course.
And for those of you listening and watching, thank you so much. Stay tuned. We have some more information to share with you. Have you ever heard about flag football? If you haven't, stay tuned. We'll fill you in and we'll let you know what's going on. It's The Morning Show. I'll be back right after these messages.
It's the morning show.
This message brought to you by ZIZ and the Fire Department of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am Woman Fire Officer Mavis White Archibald with your safety tip for today. Install smoke alarm